For years, I thought I was just clumsy, losing socks, misplacing little things. But the truth was darker than I ever imagined. My ex wasn't just stealing my clothes, she was stealing pieces of me. And when I found her hidden collection, everything changed. I never thought something as stupid as socks could unravel my whole life. But that's how betrayal starts, doesn't it? Not with grand betrayals or screaming fights, but with small things, little absences, tiny disappearances you convince yourself don't matter. At first, it was just weird. I do laundry, fold it neatly, match every sock with its partner, only to find the next morning another left sock missing. Always the left one. At first, I laughed it off, teased Sarah about it. You're stealing my left socks to build a shrine to me, aren't you? She laughed too, the kind of bright, innocent laugh that made you forget what you were even worried about. Months passed. The pile of orphaned right socks grew. I stopped mentioning it. It was too small to fight over. Besides, Sarah was the best thing that ever happened to me, or so I thought. She was beautiful in that effortless, wild way. Messy hair, smudged eyeliner, coffee stains on her jeans. She made chaos seem romantic. Losing a few socks seemed like a small price to pay to keep her. But it wasn't just socks. Other things went missing too. Receipts. My favorite sweatshirt. A signed baseball my dad had given me. Always small things. Always brushed off with a kiss, a distraction, a quick laugh, and an even quicker excuse. You're just forgetful, babe. You probably lost it yourself. You're so dramatic sometimes. And the thing was, I believed her. Because believing her was easier than believing the alternative. That someone I loved was lying to my face. One night, it was storming. The kind of storm that shakes the windows and rattles your bones. Sarah was out. She said she was grabbing groceries, even though we didn't need any. Something gnawed at me. A low, gnashing worry I couldn't shake. I wandered into our closet to grab a hoodie. And that's when I noticed it. A crack between the floorboards, just wide enough to be wrong. I got down on my hands and knees, pried it open with shaking fingers. Inside, in the dusty hollow beneath the floor, was a bundle wrapped in an old t-shirt. I pulled it out, heart pounding so hard it made my ears ring. Unwrapped it, and there, staring up at me, were dozens of left socks. All mine, neatly folded, stuffed together like some sick little trophy collection. I sat back hard, the breath knocked out of me. The room spun. The floor shifted. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't forgetfulness. This was deliberate, calculated, insane. When Sarah came home, drenched from the rain, she kissed me on the cheek like nothing had happened. I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time, I didn't see the woman I loved. I saw a stranger, someone who could smile while hiding right behind her teeth, someone who could kiss me while burying parts of me under the floor. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed to understand first, because the missing socks weren't just missing anymore. They were a message, and I needed to know what it was telling me. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there, stiff under the covers, feeling the heat of Sarah's body next to mine. Her breathing was steady, peaceful. It disgusted me. I stared at the ceiling, my mind racing with questions. Why? What could she possibly gain from this? Was it just some bizarre compulsion? Or was there something deeper, something uglier, threading itself through the years we spent together? The next morning, I acted normal. Made coffee, kissed her forehead, watched her slip on my hoodie, my missing hoodie, like she owned it. She smiled up at me, completely unaware that the ground was shifting under her feet. I'm heading to yoga later, she said casually, flipping her hair over her shoulder. Need anything while I'm out? I shook my head, swallowing down the bile rising in my throat. Nah, I'm good. The second she left, I tore through the apartment. The floorboard wasn't the only hiding place. Not by a long shot. Behind the books, in the living room, a box filled with trinkets. My old watches, ticket stubs from concerts I never attended with her, half-burned candles that smelled like her, but weren't mine. In the coat closet, a duffel bag stuffed with clothes I thought I'd lost years ago. Shirts, hats, even a pair of shoes I swore had vanished during a move. It was like she was trying to collect pieces of me, like she was building a version of me that only she could control. At the bottom of the bag, I found a photo album. Not one I remembered making. My hand shook as I flipped it open. There were pictures of me, but not the kind you'd expect. Not smiling selfies or goofy shots. They were candid, private. Me asleep on the couch. Me brushing my teeth. Me sitting alone at the kitchen table, staring blankly at my coffee. None of these moments were meant to be captured. None of them were supposed to be seen. It felt like a violation. Like I'd been living in a cage without even realizing it. I sat there, staring at those photos, feeling a cold, calculating anger settled deep into my bones. She hadn't just stolen my things. She'd stolen pieces of me. Moments. Memories. Autonomy. And she'd done it all while smiling, kissing, pretending to love me. I closed the album carefully. Put everything back exactly where I found it. Because now I had a plan. First step, surveillance. If Sarah thought she was the only one who could spy, she was wrong. I set up discrete cameras. One in the living room, one in the bedroom, and one near the closet. Nothing obvious. Tiny things. Hidden in vents, in old speakers, in places she wouldn't notice. I synced them all to my phone. Waited. Watched. For 2 days, nothing happened. Sarah went about her routine. Yoga, brunch with friends, scrolling through her phone on the couch next to me. She laughed at stupid shows. Stole fries off my plate. Curled up against me at night, like we were any other couple. But I didn't touch her. I didn't kiss her back. I just watched. Waited. On the 3rd day, I got my answer. She thought I was asleep. I wasn't. Through barely cracked eyelids, I saw her slip out of bed. Tiptoe into the living room. The cameras caught everything. She pulled the floorboard up again. Checked the sock bundle. Rearranged it like it was something precious, delicate, sacred. Then she whispered something I couldn't quite make out. Something soft. Something broken. She kissed the pile of socks before putting it back and sealing the floor shut. I lay there frozen, my mind screaming. What kind of person kisses a pile of stolen socks? That night, as she slept soundly beside me, I stared at her face. Beautiful. Broken. A liar wrapped in silk sheets. I could have confronted her then. Could have screamed. Could have demanded answers. But that would have given her too much power. No. If she wanted to play games, I'd play better. I would make her confess. On my terms. In my time. And when she did, when the truth came spilling out, I would be ready. The next morning, I left early. Told Sarah I had errands to run. A lie. I just needed her to be alone. Needed her to feel safe. Unwatched. But I was watching. Through the tiny lens tucked away in the vent, I watched her move through the apartment. Watched her pull up the floorboard again. This time, she added something to the pile. Another sock. Another stolen piece of me. She smiled to herself. A soft, private, terrifying smile. Like a collector adding to a prize gallery. I clenched my jaw until it hurt. But still, I said nothing. Because today wasn't about rage. It was about precision. By noon, I was back. Hey, babe. I called out casually as I kicked off my shoes. Forgot my wallet. Sarah peeked her head around the corner, beaming. You're a mess, she laughed. You'd lose your head if it wasn't attached. I smiled back. A hollow, empty smile. Inside, I was miles away, already putting the final pieces into place. I spent the rest of the day pretending. Pretending to be busy. Pretending to be tired. Pretending not to notice the way she kept glancing toward the floorboards, like a secret lover checking on a hidden affair. By nightfall, I was ready. I waited until she was in the shower. Listened to the water run. Listened to her sing off-key like she always did when she thought no one was listening. Then quietly, methodically, I lifted the floorboard. Pulled out the bundle. And this time, I didn't stop at the socks. Buried beneath the fabric, there was something else. A diary. Small. Leather-bound. Frayed at the edges. I didn't hesitate. I flipped it open and read. The words punched me in the gut. Page after page of obsession. Not love. No, never love. Control. Possession. Sarah had been stealing my things for years not because she needed them, but because she needed proof that she owned me. That no matter where I went, what I did, parts of me would always belong to her. She wrote about the first time she stole a sock, how the thrill had been better than any kiss. She wrote about how seeing me frustrated, confused, lost, made her feel powerful, made her feel safe. He'll never leave, she wrote once. Not if pieces of him are always with me. I closed the diary slowly. The water was still running. Good. I had time. I took the diary, the socks, the photos, the stolen clothes, everything, and laid them all out on the bed. A grotesque tribute. A mirror she couldn't look away from. When she stepped out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around her, hair dripping wet, she froze. Her eyes locked onto the bed, onto the evidence of her sickness. She didn't speak, didn't move, just stood there, dripping water onto the hardwood floor. Why, Sarah? I asked quietly. Calm. Cold. Surgical. Why me? She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. No words came out. Only a broken little noise, like a bird with a crushed wing. Did you ever actually love me? I asked. Still calm. Still deadly. Her lip trembled. I loved you the only way I could, she whispered finally. By keeping you. By making sure you'd never leave. I let her words hang there. Let them rot in the silence. Because nothing she could say would fix this. Nothing would make it right. You didn't love me, I said, voice low. You collected me. Like a souvenir. Tears streamed down her face. But I felt nothing. Not pity. Not anger. Just a deep, yawning emptiness where my trust used to be. You're sick, Sarah, I said finally. And I'm done being your trophy. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't slam the door. I just left. Wallet in my pocket. Keys in hand. My socks. My freedom. Finally mine again. I didn't look back. Didn't need to. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't missing anything. Not a sock. Not a memory. Not a single goddamn piece of myself.